collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is a part of American democracy. We've been doing that for over 200 years. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations in 1948 guarantees collective bargaining, guarantees dignity and respect for workers. John F. Kennedy signed an executive order in 1962 guaranteeing collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is not just about you take this and I take that. It's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about justice. It's about doing the right thing. But even more important than what Kennedy said, even more important than what the United Nations said, even more important than what the National Labor Relations Boards have said since the 30s, is what our God has said. Our God has said that the laborer is worthy of his hire. So if you're a laborer, if you're working, you're worthy of your hire. Why should our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents who have worked and built this nation now be taxed because they are now celebrating the twilight of their generation? That's wrong. That is wrong. And God will not bless us if we stand by and let the seniors and the elders, those who cannot protect and defend themselves, be put under the boot of folk who have no conscience, folk who have no concern, folk who have no sensitivity about what they are doing. We as workers, as people who our minds have stayed on freedom and justice and equity, must speak up, must stand up, and must get up. Because you came, listen, because you came to Lansing today, it don't mean a darn thing if you don't go back to your local communities and begin to organize and organize and organize. We must not get too comfortable in our misery and conditioned to our agony. We have too many folk who have reaped the benefits of our labor that are now trying to cut the very throats of those whose foundations upon which we stand. In that corner over there to my right and your left is an eagle. The eagle is the symbol of our nation. The bald eagle. Well, an eagle is different than a vulture. A vulture flies high also. An eagle flies high. A vulture sits on a tree limb and he waits for something to die. A vulture sits on a tree limb and he takes out those who are the weakest. A vulture sits on a tree limb and he works within a negative group. A vulture sits on a tree limb and he won't attack you unless he knows he can beat you. On the other hand, an eagle won't sit on a tree limb because that's too low for an eagle. An eagle won't touch you. An eagle won't touch you if you are dead because you don't present no challenge to him. An eagle won't look for the weakest link. An eagle wants the strongest thing going. An eagle will not come low. An eagle will fly very high. If you are too close to an eagle, he moves away by himself. If an eagle can hear you whistling, he flies up higher because he knows he's too close to the ground. Are we eagles or are we vultures? We are eagles. We must fly high. We must fly high and still see low. Down here are the politicians who would take away our rights. Down here are the politicians who have forgotten what it means to have local control. Down here are the politicians that don't give a darn about you as it relates to the fact that we are people that have come too far to come back now. And finally, as we get ready to go back into the building to lobby and to speak to the legislators peacefully, remember to come back out here at 4:30 for another round of motivation. I was raised in a community where my grandmother would send us to the store, and we had four-legged dogs all up and down the street. And I would be the point man along with me and my cousins. Before we started down the trail, I would get a pocket full of rocks so that when we went to the store, when the dogs began to attack us, I could throw a rock and scare the dog away, and we could make it on down the road and get where we needed to get and get back home in one piece. Well, today, we don't have four-legged dogs. We got some two-legged dogs. And I'm saying to you that you need to put some rocks in your pocket. You need to get ready for the battle. 5 rocks is all you need. 1 rock is for justice. 1 rock is for freedom. 1 rock is for truth. 1 rock is for union. 1 rock is for all of us working together. Do you have any rocks? Do you have any rocks? Do you have any rocks? Well, if you got some rocks, then take your rocks and let's knock some Goliaths down. God bless you. Stay on it. Keep on it. Lift it up, because we've come too far to let anybody turn us back. God bless you.
They came in. I had to. I was on there a long time. 5, 6 years. Oh shit! You should. That was
I better get yourself set.
Yeah, I want to tell you what. That you
Either one of them are probably here.
There's one fucking